Hello, ladies and gents, and today we're going to rate one of my favorite franchises of all time, Dead Rising. Now, before I get into this, why is it labeled by, oh my gosh, this should be letters, not, you know, what the hell is all this junk? Sorry, guys, I just found this random tier list, and it's in words, makes no sense. Malarkey, but what was I going to say? Yeah, we're going to rate all the Dead Rising games, and yeah, that's the whole premise of this video. This will be the last tier list I'll do in a while, just because, I've already done so much on the channel. But I just want to make one important one. This is more important than the zombie tier list, because this is my favorite zombie franchise, period. Now, let's address the elephant in the room before we do anything. Dead Rising 4 is a monstrosity. I mean, that's F tier. You know what? I give it a D tier, because I'm wrong. It's still really bad, but the one saving grace with this game, I'd say, is the campaign's not too bad, and I like the what was it, the elf DLC where you can make all the zombies look like elves and shit. That was pretty cool. Other than that, it's still D. It's definitely one of the best Christmas video games ever made, though. If you can even call it the Christmas game. Now, the original Dead Rising, Frank is still one of my favorite characters ever. I've seen other people rate this in the past, like this game in particular. They think it's like a B or an A. I'd give it an A because I watched one YouTuber before and he rated it like a B, but I'd give it an A just because nostalgia purposes. There are some things that annoy me about this game since it is kind of the prototype to the formula for the next zombie games after that, the next Dead Rising games. The time limit got annoying at times. The AI wasn't good, especially escorting the survivors back to the base. It was very, very irritating. But I still think the story was great. The whole Santa Cabeza plot, that was pretty cool. And it still has one of my favorite antagonists ever, Carlito. He's pretty cool. And the whole story about that and why they did it is pretty cool, interesting too. His incentive on it. And yeah, it's just a great game. It has one of the best clowns too, Adam. That was pretty cool. Yeah, the game's really good. It really reminds me of 2000s mall nostalgia because this game was made in 2006. Now the next game, Case Zero. I'm giving it a C. C for Case Zero, just because nothing really happens in this game. It's kind of a prototype to what the rest of Dead Rising 2 will be like because it's kind of the prologue. It's not really its own standalone game. It's kind of priced as one. I think it's like $12 or $6, or it's $12 when it's not on sale. It's like, what the hell is this monstrosity? Why is it so damn expensive? But yeah, it's still a decent intro to Chuck Green's story, but it's like it does not deserve to have. It deserves to be like not even in the double digits when it comes to the cost. So it should be like $6 max. But Dead Rising 2, I would give it an A tier. Now, many might find this absurd, but there's a reason why, and it involves another game. Well, another version of the game, if you will. Dead Rising 2 is good. I think Chuck Green kind of falls flat when it comes to his whole persona. His his one-liners aren't very good. I think Frank West has way better one-liners. I think Frank West's voice actor does really good ones, like the best in history, to be honest. And if you like Chuck Green more, you're gonna like this game more. But if you like Frank, you're gonna like another game more, which is why it's only A. I like Frank more. That's a very subjective view, but I've grown up on the guy because I used to play Dead Rising 2 off the record for like hundreds of hours. 'Cause it's just such a great game off the record, and you're gonna know what's gonna be next here. But yeah, it's still good. It still holds up, but that multiplayer mode, the one where you're in like the arena, I mean, barely can't even find a single like match in that. It's as dead as like the calling. I mean, it's bad, but still a fun game. Dead Rising 2 was this Case West. I mean, it brings back West or Frank West, but it's like they already bring him back in another game that's better. I would give this an A just because it's an actual ending to, I'll give it a B because just because it brings closure to the Dead Rising 2 story. And my problem with the original Dead Rising 2 is, the ending was kind of anticlimactic. It didn't really lead anywhere. And one of my favorite characters died in the game. So, I mean, you're already going to know I'm going to rate it lower. So, but still a good game. So this brings really good closure. Also, you can play as Frank West in the co-op mode, which is pretty cool. But, I mean, before I get to my favorite game, let's rate this one. Um, I think from hindsight, this game's gonna be a lot lower. When it first came out, it was fun, but after the exposure to the game, after I played it for a while, it doesn't really hold up. It doesn't even hold a candle to the game I'm about to rate. I think the game is very clunky. It doesn't really run well. The graphics aren't great. Like the color palette in the game is very gray and just boring and lifeless. But I'd still give it a C. It's all right. It's not a great game, but it's all right. Dead Rising 2 off the record now. I'm giving this a fat seal of approval, S tier. Now the reason why this game is better than the rest, why the rest are doing hold a candle to this game is, um, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You get a maiden in this game, like as one of my favorite characters of all time, Rebecca. I mean, she's so great, and she was one of my first, I guess, childhood crushes in a video game. I mean, she's hot. I'm like, sheesh. But like, yeah, that's one reason why I like this game. You get a maiden in this game, and all the other games you get no maidens. So it's like, what game do you think I'm gonna pick here? In all seriousness, I think Frank is just way better in this setting than this. And that's a very subjective. That's my main subjective opinion on this. A pro, but there are also a lot of objective views too. Like you get a new area, Uranus. I mean, pretty funny place to go, Uranus. Like a new area in the game region, as well as like I think they do a lot of what ifs very well, especially with Chuck. I didn't really like Chuck in the base Dead Rising 2, but I think I liked him very. I like what they did with his character arc in this. They really made a really cool Easter egg, if you will. Not really Easter egg, but just a really cool feature. And like I said, I like the ending more in this, even though it's non-canon. I really love how, spoiler alert, I mean, if this game's like, what, 13 years old? He saves Rebecca, and, I like that ending more than just, the originals. Because, I like Rebecca more. I cared about her more. My favorite characters of all time in Dead Rising, and one of my favorite characters ever is Frank and Rebecca. So, yeah, I'm really glad this game came out when it did because it's definitely better than Dead Rising 2. It's one of the few games that they recreate that's better than the original. And yeah, this one is not even close to this, just because does everything but way better. And like I said, Frank is my favorite character and one of my favorite protagonists of all time. I think he's way better in this game than Dead Rising, because Dead Rising, the first one, they didn't really know what to do with this character at first, because he's new. But I think they fleshed out his character way more in this, and they even provide a little bit of a closure to Dead Rising 1 because they showed the aftermath and like how he fell into like alcohol and debt. That was pretty cool. How he went bankrupt. That was a really cool, unique feature in the game, if you will. But yeah, that's my overall ranking. Dead Rising 2 off the record is my favorite, just because, it has my favorite characters in it. And that'll do it for now. I think this will be one of my final videos for a while. I know I kind of did a hiatus before, but it's just, I'm busy with other things at the moment. I might make another video that I might actually like edit and make it cool with my own footage. And I might rate one of these games when I'm done playing. I accidentally bought this game, so I kind of returned it to Steam. And I'm hoping to get those $6 back so I can buy this. I'm probably going to buy it anyway. But yeah, I accidentally bought this. If you're going to ever buy either of these games, please buy this one over that. I made the mistake of accidentally buying this just because, it's been a long time since I played this, but I kind of reviewed it, kind of watched old footage, and I kind of decided, I'm going to return this game and try to buy this one. But yeah, thanks for watching and peace out, guys.